Hello one and all, my name is Ryan Bruce, my friends call me Fluff, and today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we are going to check out the brand new Helix Stadium XL from Line 6. If you are a guitar player and you have been on the internet in any capacity in the last couple of months, you have probably seen some of the hype related to the brand new iteration of the fabled Helix processor from Line 6, the new Helix Stadium. And in this video, we're going to be checking out a little bit the Stadium XL today. And before we go any further, this is not a sponsored video per se. I have the Sloaner Helix from Line 6. They don't have any input on this video, and I haven't been paid to make this video. I'm making this video because I thought you guys would enjoy watching it. All thoughts and opinions are mine. Okay, so I have a slight caveat to this video and me using the Stadium XL from Line 6. Now, I have spent a little bit of time with this in the Line 6 headquarters when I did a little shoot with them about a month ago, 2 months ago, and I have gotten to play with it a little bit while at Sweetwater. However, I have only had this Stadium XL in the context of my own stuff for like 3 days. And I haven't really had a chance to really deep dive this processor. I am not an expert. This video is not meant to be some sort of video tutorial on how to operate this thing, because that would be a very long video for one. But moreover, I am not the Helix XL expert. Line 6 have been gracious enough to let me check this out in front of the camera, and I'm gonna do my best to kind of show you around. And yeah, we're gonna have some fun, we're gonna hang out. That's what this video is for. Let's go ahead and hear this thing in the context of a mix. I'm going to get my custom baritone Ernie Ball Music Band Stingray behind me with a Seymour Duncan Mark Holcomb Scourge bridge pickup. And I'm gonna dial in a high gain tone using the Rev 120 purple amplifier. And let's just give this thing a go and see if it chugs. So there are two different versions of the Stadium. There is the regular Line 6 Helix Stadium, and then you got this guy. You have the Stadium XL, which is basically adding on an expression pedal for those of you who require that kind of thing. Now, the Stadium as a whole features Line 6's new Agora modeling tech. This is a ground up, brand new way to model and capture amplifiers from Line 6. The Stadium itself features an 8-inch touchscreen, hype control, showcase views, focus views, and, you know, scribble strips and all the fun stuff. It's there. Line 6 have really focused on you players that are gigging, you professional guys and you weekend warriors alike. They got you. There is now something called Showcase. Now, Showcase is basically live automation, and you can automate track transitions with flags and even automate things like lights and videos and drum parts and things like that, all from the Helix. It will basically interact and interface with all of your peripherals. It's pretty nuts. Now, going back to some of the guitar goodies, there is the new hype control, and the hype control is basically a greatest hits, sonically speaking, right? So the more you turn it up, the more polished and the more finished of a tone the tone becomes, whether that is on a clean amp, distorted amp, bass amp. If you crank the hype, it's gonna be more of a finished mix ready sound than if you turn it down, which is a more real kind of raw sound, I guess you would call it. All right, so I have the Helix Stadium XL. I'm gonna take you through just this really quick patch that I made. I'm using my Gibson 70s Les Paul Custom with a Duncan JB in the bridge. Okay, so we have a horizon gate. We have the LA Studio comp, just a little bit of compression. I have the Horizon Devices precision drive. I have a Rev 120. I have an impulse response of a Celestion Lynch back. And then I have a couple of instances of EQ. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Fluff, this looks exactly the same as a Helix. That's on purpose, all right? So it's meant to feel familiar. However, with any one of these things, we can go to focus mode, and we can then sculpt and use, for the gate, it's not really applicable. I'll show you this in just a second, but we can drag and change the perimeters and use our ears instead of our eyes to dial in a tone. All right, so for example, let's go to the amplifier, which is a Rev 120, generator 120. Now, if I want to just quickly kind of get a tone, I'm going to drag my finger around, because you can see right here it says Super Crunch. I'm going to drag my finger around and just play. Now, the point of this mode is to really utilize your ears, because I think a lot of us, especially in this day and age, get stuck dialing with our eyes. And this is just a really cool way to just kind of come up with some tones. I can tell you right now, I would never willingly put the bass at 7.5 on this thing, but it works. It sounds great. So let's go back. Let's go to the Horizon drive, right? Let's go to focus mode. So now I can go ahead and tweak and fine tune if I want. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and tune. I like this because the strobe is just great. Yeah, you're watching me tune. So the tuner itself has a strobe, and then it has a traditional needle. I like the strobe in most cases, given the choice. Now, let's go ahead and scroll through some amplifiers, all right? So if we want to quickly just kind of skip through, we can go guitar amps, bass amps, legacy guitar amps. All the old stuff is still there, but let's go back up to guitar amp and let's choose a Soldano. I have no idea what this is going to sound like. But again, let's go to focus mode and let's drag our finger around. Great. Now let's bring up a stock. Let's go to a stock cab here. And let's do the same thing with a 412 V30 Mesa cab. Now I'm going to switch the mics around. Now, what's cool is I can go to the second slot, and let's go ahead and select the same cab, and we can effectively have a dual mic system on the same cab, if that makes sense, right? Because both these are 412 Cali V30s, but I'm going to select a different mic, and now they're going to blend together on the same cab. Now notice there's also a button to go back to the real amp at any time, or the amp rather. So if I'm on something and I want to get to the amplifier, I can just hit the button and be there. Now I still have my my EQ that I was doing for the rev. I was basically notching out a bunch of 6K to get rid of some of the fizziness. Now I also have some delay and reverb. Very roomy. But you get the idea, all right? So we can go back to whatever. Octave effects. A lot of you guys are curious about the pitch control. This is currently basically an octave down at a 50% mix. Feels pretty good. That is the Helix Stadium XL from Line 6. So having spent a couple of days with this so far here in my home studio, what do I think? I really like the Stadium. I think it's a worthy successor to the original Helix. Now, my problem with the original Helix is as time went on, I found myself needing more power, right? Like I needed a lot more processing power because my band has material where I'm using an octave effect and then I need to whammy that octave effect down for moments and things like that, right? So I need double pitch blocks and things like that. The Stadium has all of the horsepower and more that I always wanted from the Helix, while also updating literally everything. Everything is snappier, everything sounds better, in my opinion now. Is this a world game-changing processor? Well, I think this is a lot like modern car racing, right? This is now a game of milliseconds. It's not a game of hours, and it's not a game of minutes anymore. Everything in the digital world sounds so damn good now. The gains are going to be much smaller as time goes on. However, those gains are worth noting and you should not ignore them. I love the focus view and the height modes specifically. This is a great unit. Now, should you upgrade if you're a current Helix user? That depends on your use case. I'm not going to tell you, go out and buy this right now. However, if you are wanting more power, more options, and are finding yourself wanting things like automation However, if you're finding yourself wanting things like the showcase feature to automate peripherals for your gig with your band or something like that, the Stadium is probably worth a look at the very least. I will link down below in the description if you'd like to know more information on all things Helix Stadium. And with that, you've been wonderful. I've been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.